This morning, something unexpected happened just down the street from my neighborhood. A 74-year-old man, known by everyone as full of life and always cheerful, collapsed moments after getting out of bed. No prior illness, no sign of struggle, just gone in seconds. The ambulance came quickly, and thankfully, he made it. But his story traveled fast, because it shook people. What happened wasn't due to age or fate. It was something much quieter. Something most seniors, just like him, do every single day without thinking. And that's why I'm sharing this with you now. Because this could be your silent warning too. The truth is, how we wake up in the morning might feel like a routine. Something so small it doesn't seem worth questioning. But within those first few minutes, your body is still in a very vulnerable state. You've been lying still for hours. Your muscles are soft. Your blood is flowing slowly. And your brain hasn't caught up yet. But what do most people do? They jump right out of bed. No pause, no breath, no awareness, just motion. And this one reflex, this quick act of getting up, could be the very thing slowly putting your safety, your balance, and even your heart at risk. Now, I know it sounds dramatic. After all, we've all done it for years. But that's the thing. These patterns, repeated daily, don't always shout their consequences. They whisper, okay. And eventually the body begins to answer. I want you to stay with me, because what I'm about to walk you through could genuinely change how your day starts. And more than that, how your body ages. There are 5 simple but powerful mistakes many older adults make right after waking up. And while they may seem harmless at first glance, over time, they can lead to fatigue, instability, dizziness, and even serious falls. The good news is that these mistakes are all easily fixable. And the 5th one? It's something almost no one talks about, yet it might just be the silent reason you feel off every morning. If any of what I'm saying resonates with you already, take this moment to pause and promise yourself something, that you'll begin caring for your body from the very moment your eyes open each day. Not later, not when it hurts. Now, if you'd like, type in the comments, I choose to protect my body from the moment I wake. That one line, it's not just a sentence. It's a decision, and it could change everything. Let's start with a scene. You open your eyes. Light filters into the room, maybe a little stiffness in the back, but nothing major. And out of habit, you swing your legs to the side and push yourself up. It takes all of 5 seconds. You're standing. But here's the thing, your body wasn't ready yet. While you slept, your blood pressure naturally dropped. Your circulation slowed. Your muscles relaxed into stillness. Your mind may have woken up, but your body, it needs a moment to catch up. Getting up too quickly doesn't just make you feel a little dizzy. For many older adults, it triggers a sudden drop in blood flow to the brain. That's why the room might spin for a second, or why your legs feel unstable. Some even faint. It's not weakness. It's biology, and it's incredibly common. I once spoke with an older woman named Clara. She's 78, active, independent, still does her own grocery shopping. But she told me something that stuck with me. Every few mornings when she stood up too fast, she'd feel like the floor wasn't where it was supposed to be. A strange tilt in her vision, a skip in her heart, but she brushed it off. Until one morning her legs buckled on the way to the bathroom. She fell and bruised her hip, not broken thankfully, but enough to rattle her confidence. That was the wake-up call. What Clara didn't know was that this is a real and preventable pattern. And it's not about being fragile. It's about being human. The body, after decades of movement, needs time. A few deep breaths, a few stretches in bed, a few seconds to let blood start flowing again. That's it. And yet it makes all the difference. It's funny, in some Buddhist teachings, waking up is considered the most sacred moment of the day. They don't treat it like a switch to be flipped. They treat it like a ritual. Breathing slowly, moving fingers and toes. Letting the body arrive into the day, not rush into it. And now modern science is starting to echo this wisdom. Because in these quiet moments, we can either protect our balance or risk losing it. So if you've been getting out of bed too fast, it's time to change that. Tomorrow morning, I want you to try this. When your eyes open, just lie there for a bit. Notice your breath. Wiggle your toes. Let your fingers stretch. Turn to your side gently. Sit up slowly. Let your feet find the floor. And stay there, just sitting for half a minute. Let your shoulders rotate. Take a full breath. And when you finally stand, do it with awareness. That simple ritual, less than 2 minutes long, could save you from months of pain or recovery. And even more than that, it gives your day a stronger start. But that's only the beginning. There's something else most seniors overlook right after waking up. And it's so common, so automatic, that it doesn't even feel like a choice. Yet it creates a quiet storm inside the body. And that storm is dehydration. Yes, your body wakes up thirsty. Not just a little, a lot. Because while you were asleep, your cells were working. Your organs were filtering. Your lungs were breathing. And your skin was releasing moisture. You may not notice it, but your system wakes up dry. And dry blood flows slower. Dry tissues react sluggishly. Dry muscles cramp more. But here's the catch. Most older adults don't feel thirsty the way they used to. The body's signal for thirst fades with age. So even if you're dehydrated, you may not know it. Instead, many people get up and reach straight for coffee or medications. And while coffee may wake up the mind, it also pulls even more water from your system. It's like asking a tired engine to start running without oil. I remember talking to a gentleman named Leo. He's 81, sharp as a tack, but he told me he couldn't understand why his mornings felt so foggy. Why he'd get these random headaches or feel unsteady before breakfast. It wasn't until someone suggested he drink water before anything else, just half a glass by his nightstand, that the fog started lifting. It was that simple, and it changed everything. You see, hydration in the morning isn't just about avoiding dizziness. It fuels your circulation. It protects your heart. It clears your mind. And it prepares you for everything else you'll ask your body to do that day. For many people, the real beginning of the day starts with that first comforting sip of coffee. The warmth in your hands, the familiar scent, the almost sacred ritual of it. It's the symbol of a new day, a small joy wrapped in a ceramic mug. But hidden inside this cherished moment is something most seniors don't realize. A silent trigger that, over time, can harm more than it helps. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach. It's something millions of people do every day without thinking twice. But after the age of 60, the body responds differently. The stomach has just spent 7 or 8 hours resting, empty, delicate, unprotected. Then suddenly in comes a surge of hot, acidic liquid. It jolts the system awake, but not in a kind way. It increases acid levels rapidly before the stomach has had any food to act as a buffer. That acid starts wearing at the stomach lining, irritating tissues, and over time, it builds something many mistake for normal aging. But it's not aging. It's a slow breakdown. I met a woman named Teresa once. She was 72, a retired teacher with a love for crossword puzzles and black coffee. Every morning she'd drink her coffee before anything else. She said it made her feel alert and sharp. But over the years, she started to feel a tightness in her chest, a burning in her throat. She blamed the mattress, the stress, even spicy food. It wasn't until she visited a dietitian that she heard a sentence that changed everything. Try eating something before your coffee. At first, she was skeptical, but she gave it a shot. A banana, a slice of toast, sometimes a handful of almonds. Within 2 weeks, the discomfort faded. And within a month, her mornings were calmer, more grounded. She said it felt like her stomach had finally stopped fighting her. You see, coffee isn't the enemy. The timing is. It's not just about the stomach. It's about what follows. When acid levels spike early, digestion suffers all day. You may feel bloated after lunch, sluggish in the afternoon, restless at night. And it all begins with one simple moment, pouring coffee into an empty vessel. In some traditional practices, even monks who consume caffeine in the form of tea always start with a small bite of food. They see it as a form of respect, offering the body something stable before giving it stimulation. They understand that balance isn't found in grand gestures, but in the tiny rhythms of daily life. It's a lesson we often forget as we age. The body still needs protection, even from the things we enjoy. So what can you do? Start small. It doesn't have to be a full breakfast. Just something to line the stomach. A boiled egg, a spoonful of yogurt, a slice of fruit. Give your body a base to work with. Then drink your coffee. You'll still get the joy, the warmth, the comfort, but without the silent damage. And speaking of silent signals, have you ever woken up and noticed your joints feel stiff? Maybe your legs don't want to move just yet, or your shoulders resist when you try to stretch. Many seniors feel this subtle stiffness in the morning and brush it off as nothing. Just age, right? Just the usual aches and pains. But what if I told you that stiffness is your body's quiet way of asking for care? When you sleep, your muscles don't just rest. They go still. Circulation slows. The fluid that cushions your joints settles. Your whole system becomes like a car parked overnight in winter. Functional, but cold and slow to start. And yet most people wake up and push right into the day. They get up, start walking, bend over to reach something, and then wonder why their back twinges or their knee feels unsteady. I once spoke to an older gentleman named Peter. He was 80, proud of his independence, and still did yard work every week. But he began noticing something odd. When he got out of bed, his steps felt wrong. His legs didn't trust the floor. His shoulders cracked. His lower back ached for the first half hour of every morning. He thought it was arthritis. But a physical therapist told him something surprising. It wasn't disease, it was transition. His body simply needed time to shift from rest into movement. So he changed just one thing. He added a short 2-minute stretch session in bed. Nothing fancy. Just gentle wrist rolls, slow ankle circles, reaching his arms over his head. Then sitting up slowly, he'd stretch his spine, look straight ahead, and only then place his feet on the floor. Within a week, his mornings started differently. His balance returned. His body stopped fighting him. He said it felt like opening the door for the day instead of kicking it down. This transition matters because it doesn't just affect your joints, it affects your nervous system, your mood, your energy. In ancient practices, they speak of calling the body to wakefulness, not demanding it. That idea, though poetic, is deeply practical. The body responds better to gentleness, especially as the years go on. And yet there's still one thing left. One small habit that may seem so minor, so automatic that it goes unnoticed, but its impact is enormous. I've saved it for last because it may be the most overlooked of all. And once you hear it, I promise you'll start to see your mornings in a completely different way. But before we get to that, let me ask you this. If you're still reading or listening now, chances are this topic matters to you. You're one of the rare few who stop and ask, is there a better way? That kind of awareness is powerful, and it's worth celebrating. So if you're here still with me, take a moment to gently remind yourself, I'm not too old to start over, even in the smallest ways. Because the smallest changes, the quiet daily shifts, are often the ones that shape our lives the most. Now let's talk about something almost no one notices, but everyone does. The way you hold your body in those first few moments after waking up. The way you sit, stand, and take your first few steps. The posture you assume, almost by default, without even thinking about it. And yet, that single detail can change the way your lungs breathe, your heart pumps, your brain receives oxygen, and your entire balance system works throughout the day. Think back to this morning. When you sat up in bed, where were your shoulders? Were they slumped forward? Was your head tilted down? Did your back round slightly as you moved toward the bathroom? If so, you're not alone. Most seniors, without realizing it, carry their body in a way that slowly folds them in on themselves. Not because they're weak, not because they're broken, but because no one ever told them that posture, especially right after waking, is not just about how you look, it's about how your entire body functions. When the spine is curved forward, even slightly, your lungs can't expand fully. Your breath shortens. Your ribs compress. Less oxygen flows through your system. The heart has to work harder. The brain receives less fuel. And over time, what begins as a simple slouch becomes something much bigger. Fatigue, confusion, shortness of breath, even a greater risk of tripping and falling. I remember a woman named Grace, 81 years old, who used to walk every morning around her neighborhood. She was sharp, thoughtful, and deeply kind. But her daughter started noticing that Grace would shuffle a little when she walked. Her gaze was down. Her back had curled. She moved like she was always on guard, afraid the world might tip beneath her feet. Then came the first fall. Nothing too serious, just a small tumble in the kitchen. But it shook her. And after that, Grace began moving even more cautiously, as if bracing herself against gravity. What she didn't realize was that it wasn't age stealing her confidence. It was her posture. Her body had slowly shifted into a defensive shape, one that made breathing harder, seeing forward less likely, and balance almost impossible. All because of the way she rose from sleep. We worked together, and I gently asked her to try something. The next morning, before even standing, I asked her to pause. Sit tall on the edge of her bed. Pull her shoulders gently back. Lift her gaze to eye level. Straighten her spine as if she were being drawn upward by a gentle thread. And just breathe. 5 slow breaths. Then rise. Not like a person rushing into the day, but like someone choosing how to enter it. Within days, her walk changed. Her voice became brighter. She even laughed when she said, "I feel taller again." That's the power of posture. And especially in those tender moments after waking, it becomes the blueprint for how you'll move through the hours ahead. Slouching sends a signal to the brain. Slow down, shrink, retreat. But rising tall says something else entirely. I'm here, I'm capable, and I'm ready. There's a beautiful idea in some Eastern traditions that posture is the outer shape of inner energy. That how we carry ourselves is not about vanity, but about respect. Respect for the breath that fills us. Respect for the ground beneath us. And respect for the life we still have to live. But I know what you might be thinking. I've stood this way for years. Nothing's happened. And that's understandable. We all cling to what's familiar. But here's the quiet truth. The body doesn't always shout when something's wrong. Sometimes it whispers. For years. Until one day the whisper turns into a fall, a strain, a diagnosis. And suddenly we wonder where it all began. So here's what I invite you to do. Tomorrow morning before standing up, sit with awareness. Straighten your spine, not rigidly but gently. Let your head rise, not tilt. Roll your shoulders back just slightly. And as you place your feet on the ground, feel the strength beneath you. When you take your first steps, keep your gaze forward, not down. Trust that your body, when honored with care, will respond with grace. Because here's the deeper truth. These little habits, how you wake, how you drink, how you stand, are not small at all. They are the foundation. They are the difference between a day that starts with ease and one that begins with struggle. Between a life of quiet stability and one punctuated by sudden, painful surprises. You see, the body is like a book. Each morning, you turn a new page. And the way you hold yourself, fuel yourself, move yourself, those become the words. Over time, those words form chapters. And eventually, those chapters shape the whole story. But maybe now, after all this, you're thinking, well, I've been doing these things for decades. Isn't it too late to change? Let me answer you with something I deeply believe. No, it's never too late. The body is miraculous. Even after years of habits, it still responds to kindness. It still heals when given the chance. It still adapts when offered consistency. And it still says yes when you give it a better way. The beauty of these morning changes is that they don't require anything drastic. You don't need equipment, money, or massive lifestyle shifts. All you need is awareness. A willingness to pause. and a bit of respect for the vessel you live in. Because you deserve to age with grace, with strength, with dignity. And that begins not in big resolutions or extreme workouts, but in the first 2 minutes of your morning. Let me ask you something now. What kind of future do you want to build with your mornings? Do you want to continue rushing, ignoring, repeating? Or would you rather choose presence, care, and a quiet strength that builds day after day? Because you don't need to wait for a doctor's warning, or a bad fall, or a scare to begin treating yourself with the kind of care you've always deserved. You can start tomorrow with just a breath, a sip of water, a moment of stretch, a straightened spine, and a step forward, not just in movement, but in mindset. Maybe right now you're sitting quietly, thinking back on all the mornings you've lived through without giving them much thought. All those rushed awakenings, missed glasses of water, careless first steps. It's easy to feel a twinge of regret when you realize how many small moments might have been chances to care for yourself better. But I want you to know something important. Regret has no place here, only beginnings. Because the truth is, the body isn't counting your mistakes. It's listening for your choices today. You are not too old to start new rituals. You are not too far gone to rebuild strength, balance, and energy. You are not too late to turn ordinary mornings into extraordinary acts of self-respect. Every sunrise gives you another blank page. And how you greet it, how you greet yourself makes all the difference. There's a story from a small village about an elderly man who planted a tree in his 80s. A young boy asked him, "Why plant a tree you may never sit under?" And the old man smiled and said, "Because I believe in tomorrow." That belief, the simple, quiet faith that today's small acts create tomorrow's shade, is the same faith I'm offering you now. When you choose to wake slowly, to hydrate your body, to nourish before stimulating, to stretch gently, and to rise tall, you're planting seeds. Seeds of stability, seeds of freedom, seeds of a future where your body remains your companion, not your burden. And yes, at first the changes might feel tiny, too small to matter. A breath here, a glass of water there, a moment of stretching, a conscious straightening of your back. But tiny habits are never really tiny. They're like pebbles dropped into a still pond. The ripples spread wider than you can see. You'll start noticing little things first, maybe fewer dizzy spells. Maybe a steadier step, maybe less stiffness in the mornings, maybe a deeper, calmer breath, maybe a sense of pride you haven't felt in a long time. The pride that comes from knowing you're caring for yourself, not because someone told you to, but because you finally chose to. And over time, those small ripples will become tides. You'll find yourself walking with more confidence, climbing stairs with less hesitation, standing up from your favorite chair without that brief moment of fear. But smiling at the sunrise, not because the day ahead is easy, but because you've made yourself ready to meet it. And perhaps most precious of all, you'll find the quiet joy of knowing that you are still, in every way that matters, writing your story. Not fading, not surrendering, not giving in to the false idea that aging must mean decline. You're proving something far more powerful, that aging can mean deepening, strengthening, awakening, because life doesn't end at 60, 70, 80. Life is still here, still yours, waiting in the small choices, the quiet rituals, the tender ways you treat the body that has carried you through so many seasons already. And yes, there will be mornings when you forget, when the old habits pull at you, when you rush, when you skip the water, when you bend without thinking. That's human. That's okay. Progress isn't perfect. It's persistence, the gentle return over and over again to the path you've chosen. If today you decide to wake differently, even just once, you are already changing your future. Because what you do today does not disappear. It builds. It roots itself into your muscles, your heart, your bones, your breath, and it whispers a promise that you'll feel days, months, even years from now. A promise of more mornings, more walks, more laughter, more strength, more time lived well, lived freely, lived fully. If anything we've talked about today touched you, even a little, please know it wasn't by accident. Sometimes the universe places gentle signs in our path exactly when we need them most. Maybe this message was one of them for you. Maybe this was your reminder that you are still in charge of the story you're living, that you are not stuck with the habits of yesterday, that you can, with something as simple as a breath, a sip of water, a mindful stretch, and a proud posture, choose a better way forward. So if your heart is saying yes to that, even a whisper of yes, I invite you to honor that. To say to yourself, quietly or out loud, I choose to care for my body with every new day. Because the body you live in has been faithful to you, through storms and seasons, through joy and loss, through years that passed like a blink. It deserves your kindness now, maybe more than ever. And in return, it will give you something even more precious than strength. It will give you presence, the ability to feel the sun on your face, to hear the birds outside your window, to walk a little further than you thought you could, to laugh a little louder than yesterday, to hold the hands of the people you love with steadier fingers. That is what's at stake. Not just health, not just safety, but life itself. And it all begins, not someday far away, not with some complicated program, but right here, right now, with the next time you open your eyes in the morning. I want to thank you for staying with me until now. It says something beautiful about who you are, that you're still learning, still caring, still believing in better days ahead. Before you go, if this message spoke to you, please consider sharing it with someone else you love. Continue. A friend, a sibling, a neighbor, someone who might need this gentle reminder just as much as you did. And if you haven't yet, I invite you to subscribe, to stay connected with this community, where we honor the wisdom of age and the power of small, conscious living. If you feel called to, you can even leave a comment below saying, I choose to take care of my health every day, starting with the small things. A simple phrase, yes, but sometimes simple words carry the deepest power. Your next morning is waiting, and it's ready to meet a stronger, wiser, more vibrant you. Choose it, honor it, live it fully. Your story is still unfolding, and the best pages are yet to be written. You're